Is Gervonta Tank Davis the only man that can stop Terence Crawford in the sport of boxing? Let's get into it. Guys, Terence Crawford obviously is coming off that big, tremendous beatdown win that he, obviously the victory that he got over Errol Spence Jr. on July 29th. We're about a week away, past that. It was a tremendous performance. I still wake up to this day not kind of being able to believe and understand what went down, because obviously you have two styles that everyone thinks these guys are going to go in there and it's going to be a competitive fight. Errol Spence said it was going to be one of those old school fights that you're going to have to tune into, but in my opinion, it was just a beatdown. I think in your guys' eyes would agree as well that was no, back and forth old school fight. That was a one-sided beat down from Terence Crawford that he put on Errol Spence Jr. I, picked Errol Spence to win the fight, but at the same time, I think I underestimated Terence Crawford and kind of was a hater and underrated him, honestly. I think that I'm a believer now, but it took me seeing him get in the ring with a guy like Errol Spence to really show me who he was, and I think that Terence might just be on another level. He might just be on a different wavelength. And I think seeing what Sean Porter was able to do and what Errol Spence wasn't able to do just reiterated and reminded me that styles really do make fights, and that, you don't really know everything about boxing. Like, you could see a fight playing out in your imagination and in your mind in so many different ways. Everything makes sense. It could have been a close fight, could have been Errol winning, could have been Terence winning, but at the same time, I picked Errol Spence and it was the complete opposite. Terence dominated the fight, from round 2 to, round 9 where he got the stoppage. But is Tank the kind of fighter that would give Terence Crawford trouble? Because Terence has stated, Tank is too small, and Tank said that Earl would beat Terence because he has a glass shield, saying that, if you touch his chin, he's done. Terence has shown that he was vulnerable at lightweight and then at 47. But, we've seen him hurt, but look at what he did to a top dog in Errol Spence. So we can't really use that as, a foundation or for our argument that, Tank would beat Terence Crawford, because even though Tank probably has more power than those guys, Terence showed us that he's so talented in that fight against Errol Spence. Don't get me wrong, maybe Tank might be a little bit more tricky, have that heavy power. Think maybe Tank is, a heavier hitter than Errol Spence was, maybe, but I don't know. Tank hits hard, but I think against a guy like Terence Crawford, after seeing what Terence did to Earl, man, I don't know if Tank could handle that. He's big. That's a 47-pounder, a natural 47-pounder who's ready to go to 54 in Terence Crawford. So that's a tricky fight if I'm Terence Crawford. I mean, if I'm Tank, if I'm Tank, I'm much smaller than Terence Crawford, but if I touch his chin, there's a chance that, I could change the course of the fight and stop him. So it's a lot of ifs, because Tank is, the thing about Terence and Tank is that they're both willing to take one to get one, In order for them to land a punch, their signature punches, sometimes they have to take one. You saw Leo Santa Cruz throw the 3 same punches. Some of them landed on Tank, but he ultimately, caught Leo with the 3rd one. And then you had a guy like Errol Spence who had a moment where he was going in for an overhand left, and Terence caught him with a right hand uppercut from that southpaw stance. So there's a lot of unpredictability from guys like Terence Crawford and Tank. These guys are both, very talented, carry that power. Terence is probably might be the faster twitch muscle fighter, but maybe Tank hits harder. I don't know. After seeing what Terence did to Earl, that's a tough night for Tank, in my opinion. I think Tank should focus on, the 35ers and maybe the 40s, but I think 47, Terence Crawford would be pushing it for sure. But at the end of the day, Tank does hit hard. We hear all the sparring rumors about him, knocking guys out that are cruiserweights, heavyweights. I don't know how true that stuff is, but I would believe it, because Tank really does hit hard. There's no question about his power, but we don't know how it fares at 47. Beyond the 140-pound weight class. I don't know how strong Tank would be, but Terence Crawford and Gervonta Tank Davis, let me know what you guys think. I think that's a tremendous mega fight. I just I don't think we see it. I mean, I never say never, but that's one of the fights that I think, Tank's promoters will probably, steer him the opposite direction. I think Terrence's would even, steer him in the opposite direction, because Tank does carry that power. And if I'm not saying, he outboxes Terrence, I think Terrence would probably outbox him, but if Tank does touch his chin, I don't know how he would react. Maybe that one-shot power from Tank is different from what Earl, carries. I think he's more of that thumping power, but Terrence has a, better punch resistance than I thought in the Earl Spence fight, but, a lot of people don't think Earl was the same. Maybe weight drain, maybe that did play a factor, but against a guy like Tank who hits so hard, maybe he has more of an effect when it comes to those heavy hands, landing shots, a guy that can actually punch. So, man, that's a dream matchup, Terence Crawford and Gervonta Tank Davis. I'd love to see it. Let me know in the comments who you guys would have in that matchup, Terence Crawford or Gervonta Tank Davis. A dream matchup, but who knows? Maybe we see it down the line because, there's only so much more Terence Crawford can do before he retires, or, maybe fights Canelo, maybe fights Tank. I don't know. That's either going up in weight classes or going down. So, or staying at the same, and Tank comes up to 47 or something like that. That'd be pretty crazy. But I'd love to see that fight. I think that's a good one. Just because, Tank carries that power. It's so unpredictable. And then you have a guy like Terrence who did what he did to Earl Spence, and then you see him against a guy like Tank who's also, just as dynamic and talented. And I'd love to see it. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Terence Crawford. Who you got and why. But thank you guys for watching. I'll catch you guys next time. Peace.
That's going to do it for another Nads Fight Media video, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. It's been your boy, Matt Nabong, with another video. Hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you guys for the constant support. Salute to y'all always. It's been your boy.